We are live. Hello, everyone in chat and watching in the future. Merry Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, wherever you are. How you going,
Christmas Eve.
Lorenzo?
I'm doing well. Actually, I'm doing super duper well. It's a nice, cool morning here in Japan, and Campbell and I decided in last minute to do this live stream today, a little off our normal path because, well, it's the holidays, and everyone likes presents. Everyone likes to get presents, and what better present than your own destiny? I have seen. So today we're going to discuss opening destiny's present, which could be looked at in many, many ways. So Campbell asked me to take us in. So I will say we both have discussed words, present, presence, being in your present, which is very important, meaning being in your now. And a destiny, well, that's a topic for this entire conversation. And we would love anyone who wants to intelligently participate to suggest. But for me, a destiny is why you were born, why you're here, where you would like to go, and how you would like to get there. And figuring out that destiny, I can't think of a better present for the holidays.
Indeed. And hello to everyone in chat. Thank you for being here. I won't go through your names now, but we'll have a chat afterwards, maybe. Yeah, words are interesting, aren't they? Destiny's present. Present is now, and a destiny is, well, I don't know. What is a destiny? I'm thinking it's something in the future that we're working towards, right? So basically, you build your destiny in the present. Like if you're not doing something now, then you're not creating something for the next now, right? So we are at the end of 2023, believe it or not, getting very close. So I guess what is your destiny? What do you want your destiny to be? And this doesn't need to be some massive thing. It might just be, I want to be happy. I want to live on some land. I want to travel more. I want to have better friends or whatever. But unless you start building it in the present, then it can never come to fruition, right? So, yeah, words are interesting how they all sort of form together, aren't
Wow.
they?
Yeah, because, for me, from what I've seen, Campbell and I did an out of time chat a few months ago, and it was one of our most watched ones. So it seemed that was what was interesting to most people. So if you look at time and you take yourself out of time, and then time goes up instead of side to side because your past doesn't exist and your future doesn't exist, there is only now. And if you look at now and you go straight up with your now was always here from the time you started breathing, or even when you were conscious before you were born. Maybe awareness, I've heard, starts at conception. That's an argument for another time. But if your awareness does start at conception, perhaps it's possible from then to now to your future, which is, the death that's coming for all of us, to go straight up and to see why you're here, what your destiny is. I mean, I agree with Campbell. Why not be happy? Why not have more land? Why not be healthy? But maybe those are just the preambles to your ultimate destiny. Maybe you need to be happy. Maybe you need to be healthy. Maybe you need some more land. But why did you come? Did you come to be happy? Almost that makes no sense, because probably when you were before you were born, you were already happy, right? Did you come for land? Maybe not, because before you were born, you probably didn't need any land if you wanted to, if you were soul or spirit. Did you come for abundance? Well, if you came from the all of everything, you already had your abundance. So I'm going to the point saying that maybe you already have all of the stuff that you can think of that you might be missing, and your destiny might be something. People say spiritual, people say, maybe you're here to bring, the success of getting from there to here. In other words, if you're born into, let's say, bad parents, no money, ill health, whatever, and you have to transform that towards something fantastic, like Campbell said, maybe your destiny is to show people how to get to their destiny. Really just depends on what it is that you feel like making and sharing and showing in this world.
Yes. That just broke up a little bit for me. Let me know if the audio and everything's good. I've just switched internet providers, so hopefully this one will work. But I mean, it's a good point. Why did we come here? Obviously, we came here. Depending on what you believe, I believe we've come here to learn, right? To grow, to have experiences, which would be a destiny, right? That you've come here for something. But what is that? It's probably not something that the system is putting up for us, right? Which is the physical things, the house, the land, the travel, all this kind of stuff. Because I think, we can all agree that, you'd rather just be sitting around a fireplace, in your backyard with good people having fun than, traveling the world by yourself, or, having a a big mansion with no friends in it. It's really experience, I think, that we seek. And what we're sold is that things will give us experiences. If you have this car, then you'll have more friends. If you have this holiday, then you'll whatever, right? Have all these amazing experiences and meet men or women and all this kind of stuff. But it's still the experience we want. So what is your destiny? What do you want to experience? What do you want to do? I mean, I've always kind of wanted to help in some way, I guess, because I've always seen the world as very crazy and a little bit wonky and broken. So I think my destiny is to get out there and just to give people a different point of view, right? Hopefully give them better questions. But is that my ultimate destiny? I don't know. The ultimate destiny might be, and probably is, the result of that, like what I'll learn from that, how I learn about different beings and entities, what I learn about myself and interacting with people and all these things. So it's a journey, but yeah, it's a very good point that our destiny, I would say, is never a physical thing. I don't think we come down here to be a millionaire, to be the boss of 100 people, or to rule the world, or to have a collection of fast cars. That's all the shadow, because we see people who do this and they're not happy. Most of them,
No,
they just not.
since we're talking about words, and Campbell mentioned that, something that really hit me the other day is people say you should have goals, right? You should have goals, you should set goals. But if you look at the word goal and Gaol, Gaol, is an old word
Jail,
for
yeah.
jail. So setting goals could just be you throwing, like, a goal to make money, a goal for this, a goal for bigger land, a goal for faster cars, a goal for whatever, $1 million. I mean, it seems to me, and I've been there, when I was younger and I was a stockbroker and I wanted to make money, or I wanted to buy my motorcycle, a car, a house, whatever. As I look back, those decades ago, I had put myself in jail. I really had, because then you get up every day and you're told it's a good idea. Become a doctor, become a lawyer, whatever. Learn to deadlift 500 pounds. I mean, those are fine if they're part of your destiny. If your destiny is to understand yourself, or to become that energetic being that is in full control, I would say. Maybe you are. I guess we're looking at Christmas, Jesus' birth, supposedly, even though it's not really, but maybe you're just supposed to become that piece of God. You're supposed to realize that you are the all of everything. And the other goals, the one this world gives you, be sexy, do this, do that, probably, in my opinion, anyways, does put you in a sort of jail.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah. Jail, yeah, and that's how we still that is the Australian spelling, although we've been a bit Americanized. But yeah, Gaol. I was just thinking about one, right? WON is the reverse of now, right? So if you're living in the
Mm,
now, you've won, and then of course one means one, ONE, and because
right.
you go back to the oneness, and I think that's probably ultimately what we're doing. It's almost like there's a one conscious, and we're all fractals or bits of that, and we're just going out and getting experiences and then taking them back, right? So that ultimately the one, that the source, can grow itself, and so what do you want to take back? And we talk about this a lot. I mean, Lorenzo's mentioned it a lot. That we don't have infinite time here. We're all on a timer. So if we're not doing things now, when can you possibly do them? Because newsflash, you can't do anything yesterday and you can't do anything tomorrow. You can only do things now, and that's when you win, right? Because so many people put it off. I'll do this tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow. Or if only I had, so they're living, in the past and the present, which means they're going around in circles. They're circling the now, and they never quite get in there, which means they're not creating the future that they want to experience.
Yeah, and I see. I don't mean to be a contrarian, Sue. You're here to help people heal by your presence, but no one can help anybody heal. I've been there for decades, saying I want to help someone heal. I want to help them get better. Like, what does that even mean? Help them heal. I mean, help them. That you're saying they're sick, and if you're saying they're sick, you're kind of saying there's something wrong with them. And if you're looking at someone and saying there's something wrong with them, you're kind of making a judgment. And in my opinion, nobody's sick and nobody needs healing. I think people just need to wake up to their destiny, to wake up to themselves. And I don't even like the word wake up, but just become aware of who they are, aware of what's possible for them, aware of the beautiful, wonderful possibilities in this life. Healing. I'm all of the idea that if anybody's sick, they just need to detox. Right? I don't think there's any shenanigan viral. I don't think anybody gets sick. I don't think anybody had the cancers, all that stuff. Basically, you're just have a whole bunch of poisons, whether they're spiritual, energetic, food related, environmental, whatever, dietary, and then eventually your body goes blah, and it has to get it out, and then so you feel sick for a week or 2 weeks, or you feel you need to cut some bits out because they're horribly toxic. So I would say basically nobody needs to heal, nobody needs to wake up. People maybe just need to detox and become aware of who they are, and the body itself, the soul itself. We're wonderful, wonderful. We've got a wonderful body, got a wonderful consciousness. It doesn't need anything. It heals itself. We just have to give it the loving kindness, whether that's breath or food or air or peace, and allow us to become who we're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, life's kind of a game, right? Kelly says it's the game of the one with the least poisons wins, right? Because it's just where we are, and you can get mad about that or you can whatever, but it's the truth, right? So what we really need to do is deal with it, and because if it's someone else's fault, we can't fix it. But it's not just we know about the food, right? Obviously, you're not going to be doing well if you're eating store bought packet food and fast food and all this, but it's also the mind. We need to detox the mind from all these opinions that are thrown at us and all these goals that we're supposed to achieve and all these things that we're supposed to embody and rah rah rah. It's all for other people, and no matter what you do, you can never really please anyone. Right? No one's going to be happy with obviously parents, but no one's going to jump up and down because you do something. And if that's why you're doing things to please others, you're going to find out pretty quick that they don't really care. People say a lot of things and they say, blah, 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 blah. But in the end, everyone's pretty busy living their own life and trying to figure this whole thing out. And I think that's where the power lies, is taking time to do that. And that's what a lot of people have found in the last couple of years, is a bit of space, right, to think their own thoughts. And to a lot of people, clearly to the majority, that was a frightening thing, right? They didn't want to do that. But many people went down that path and they've educated themselves, shall we say, in the ways of the world and what's going on. But have you educated yourself in what you want, in why you're here? Because, we hear a lot of people telling other people what they need to do, right? I'm awake now. I've got all this info. I know blah, blah, blah. So you need to do this. Again, that's never going to happen. You can't change anyone. But how many people, are taking this info and going with it within and going, okay, I need to do this. Because that's the only person you're ever going to influence, really. And it's the only person you can ever make do something is yourself.
Maybe all disease and all sickness, I saw someone mention chemtrails, it's just a sickness of awareness, a sickness of comprehension. I mean, what if the chemtrails are there to scatter your thoughts, radio signals, energy signals? What if it's there to scatter your connection to spirit? Maybe bad food does the same thing, or stress obviously does the same thing. So perhaps opening destiny's present is just a matter of straightening it out, straighten yourself out to your heart, if you like, to your guts, to your will, to the peace, to where you came from, to be able to listen in those moments of joy, what your joy is telling you, regardless of what's telling you you can't do it. You can't do it for monetary reasons. You can't do it because you're old. You can't, I've gotten healthier, happier, and stronger through the chemtrails, through the viral shenanigans, through the pollutants out there, through the global warming and cooling and sideways this, through the carbons and nonsense, through what was the past, through the AIDS and the SARS and the Ebola and the and all the other, and the wars and all the other BS poo-poo stuff that comes through the mainstream whatever. And has it challenged me? Sure. I mean, I've had to change my diet. I've had to change how I look at myself. But mostly, if I'm going to look at it, boil it down for my destiny, I had to become a kind, loving person to myself and the people around me. Not one that gave up my power by being kind and loving, because sometimes being sharp and angry is part of that, but just by being honest to who I am and being loving and supportive to the people around me, I've opened my destiny. Maybe I figured that's my destiny. Something as simple as that, being a kind, loving person and sharing that.
Yeah, and I think that's what your destiny is. It's whatever you believe it is, because only you know, right? It's not what someone else tells you. So, and the thing about destinies is, if you choose that something's your destiny and you're into it for 6 months or a year or 10 years or 25 years, you can always change it.
Mm,
Destinies can change. You can hit a point where you've learned. You've been down that road. You've learned what you need to learn, and it's time to go somewhere different. So that's
mm,
another thing. People a lot of the time tend to think if they choose something, they're stuck. And again,
mm.
that's through programming, right? What are you going to be when you grow up? Like there's one choice. Like you get a job and then work yourself to death for over 50 years, right? But that's crap. And all this stuff about chemtrails and they're doing this and they're doing that, and guys, that's letting the fear in and letting the fear control you. Like we do not know what's in we know some of what they tell us are in chemtrails maybe, but we don't have 100% proof. And the way I look at life, and this is what I hear from most of my audience, is we're the creators, right? Everything's energy. So if we're the creators and everything's energy, doesn't that mean we can transmute energy? Doesn't that mean we can, like literally we give everything the power? If every time you see a chemtrail, you're like, oh my God, they're spraying death on me, that is going to affect you. Think of the placebo effect. That's exactly what it is. So all these, beings that wish to control us, I still believe 100% that their biggest tool and probably their only tool is fear. Because Lorenzo kind of, went over it. It's like, I'm in Australia back in the 80s, the ozone layer was going to disappear and it was going to kill all
Oh
the
yeah.
planet. Australia was going
Yeah.
to be just this scorched, barren land, right?
Stop using hairspray. You're killing the
Yeah,
world.
all this kind of stuff, right? Nothing happened. We had the Cold War. We had all the nuclear bomb threats, right, through the 50s and 60s. Just duck and cover and all this kind of stupidity. Nothing ever happened. And now there's a massive question: do nuclear
Mhm.
bombs even exist? We have
No, they don't.
Fukushima, right? Broke down. The oceans were going to die. What happened? Nothing.
Nothing.
So,
Nothing.
as far as I can see, 100% of the time, with all these massive scares, it's all BS. There's nothing
Oh
behind it
yeah.
but fear. And so the only person or the only people it affects are the ones who take that on as part of themselves and live into that fear. Then they're using the placebo effect and they're making
Oh yes.
themselves sick.
Yeah, all the oceans are going to die. All of Vancouver is going to be gone. There's going to be no more fish. I see lots of fish. I'm here in Japan. I don't see anybody turning into four-flippered, eight-eyed beings because of Fukushima or Hiroshima or Nagasaki, which probably never happened the way that they said at all. I mean, imagine if you're God or Jesus, if you're Christian, or you're a piece of that. Do you think a spray of dust in the sky is going to stop God from being God? Right? Do you think them saying that there's not enough fish is going to stop God from being God? Maybe making more. Maybe the creative being. If you think about the now, always now. The now can always change. So whatever these crazy monsters are doing, their effects, as Campbell said, it's just in your brain. You look up, like I can feel the chemtrails. Don't get me wrong. They squeeze my head. They do. I can feel the metals. I can feel the energy. I can feel it trying to disrupt my radio signal to myself, let's say, or my connection to spirit, to God. And I think that's all this does. Fears disrupt your connection to spirit. The chemtrails, the bad food, the sugar, the stress, all the stuff that they say you have to do your whole life instead of maybe doing your daily actions that connect you to spirit, whether it's a meditation or a walk or being loving. And once you get that connection, no one can take it away. The biggest thing the monsters fear, or the powers that be, or the Waitiko, the archons, whatever, is they're trying to block that, change your vibration, so you lose your connection to your heart and to spirit. And I would say that's the ultimate goal of fear. And opening Destiny's Present is the opposite of that.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Opening something that you're excited about, right? So, we're at that time, right, where we're all told to make New Year's resolutions. And of course, that's crap as well. You can make one whenever you want to. You can decide to change your life whenever you want to. But it is the time that a lot of people think about this stuff. So why not do something different? We've all been through a lot of changes in the last 4 years. But how many of us have changed our lives? Have really changed how we're living, who've changed our destiny. A lot of us have taken on a lot of information and we've got all this knowledge and all this stuff, but what have we done with it? How are we changing our lives? What have we done that's different, that's new, that's exciting, right? That makes us want to get up in the morning, because we've got something to live for. Because, I know that if you get up in the morning and you're like, oh, the government are ruling me, they're probably spraying the skies again. Oh my God, they're doing this, they're doing that. You probably won't have a good day. And, there was a few comments about, oh, there's only blobby clouds and there's only this and there's only that. Well, to me, it's pretty clear that we're going through earth changes, right? Like, because that's that, and it's just that's what the earth does. It changes, right? Nothing is constant. Nothing is constant but change. And so all these clouds and all this kind of stuff, that could be part of the natural changes, right? And all they have to do is go, it's chemtrails, it's this, it's that, and they're using just something that's happening naturally, and they're spreading all this fear and making people sick. Like, have you ever considered, there's always another point of view. And a big part of my, philosophy of being self-educated is you can't make a decision unless you've got at least 3 points of view, not two, because then you're just given the right, wrong option, right? That's called politics and all this. You need at least 3 different points of view before you can even start to make a decision. But so many people get one point of view and they're like, that's the truth, or that's not the truth. But I've got to tell you, if that's what you're doing, you're being controlled. Someone is telling you what to think. So think for
Yeah.
yourself.
I like the comment you made, JJ Recon. Don't get wrecked because your integrity is checked. That's just beautiful. Maybe every challenge is checking your integrity, which just means being whole, right? Integrous, or to have integrity means you're a whole being. Maybe that means you're in touch with the all of everything or the all of you. And that is the best of ways I found to look at things. If someone's angry with me, if you're working with someone and I am that challenges you every time, they open their mouth or you open your mouth, or you're having a talk with them. I don't need to mention any names. And it's not Campbell. I'll say that because him and I get along very well. It's just showing me. It's like, do I want to get angry now? Do I want to lower my vibration now? You always have an opportunity. You can work with someone or not. You can stay in a job or not. You can keep eating something or not. You can stop doing something or not. You can change your circumstances anytime, regardless of the challenges that are going to come, because you choose to do so or you don't. And ultimately, that's what I mean by freedom's calling you. It's still on the top right there of our thumb if people are there, is that you're being called to your own powers that will allow you to do whatever you choose. And if the challenges come next, that's your integrity being checked, which is great. Because the more it's checked, if you want to go on a journey in a boat, you're going to take it on a shakedown cruise, right? You're going to make sure there's no holes. You're going to make sure when the typhoons come, it's not going to, it's not going to crack. So maybe that's what's happening to all of us here. Maybe we're all being checked for the journey to make sure we're whole, integrous, and ready for something more and beyond these silly little lives we're all living right now.
Yeah, yeah. And the biggest present you can give yourself, is your own present. In the
Mm.
presence, be present in the presence. That's literally the best present you can give yourself, and it's
Yep.
it's the best present you can give someone else. Be present in their presence, right? Because how often are we there, but we're thinking about something? Oh, what are they going to say next? How do I respond to that? Well, we're not there, so we miss it, and the person knows. There's no real connection if they're there and you're not, or if you're both not there. So you know, be here now, I think, is the big thing, because we spend so much time, like I said before, in the past and the present and all this stuff, but that achieves nothing. It really sort of wears down our energy and stops us getting where we want to get. So, yeah, I think that's my message for these, holy days, right? The holy days, which they, of course, have turned into the consumer holidays. Holy days, make yourself whole, be whole for a while in your own presence, and then just decide, because it's a decision. What's your destiny? You don't have to wait there and wait for the clouds to open up and light to shine down. Ooh, okay, that's what I'm here for. No, you get to decide. But like I said, if you also get to change it if you want to. So give your presence. That's the best present.
Yeah, etymology is great. Somebody mentioned that. History is fantastic. The reset, the Tartarians, it's all beautiful. But if you're missing yourself, none of it means anything. Sure, the different words mean different things. Sure, the streets were empty and our history was, probably full of, toilet crap and onions. And a lot of lies. Every time I look back at anything they told us about Canada, Australia, the United States, history, buildings, food, schooling, sexual relationships, boys and girls, what you should do as a children, how you should live, how old you can be. Like it's all crap, in my opinion, in that it's not the full truth for me. It's all I can really say. So instead of getting lost in the miasma of, oh my goodness, they lied to me, or oh my goodness, what's Bill Gates doing, or oh my goodness, the history isn't what, oh my goodness, my parents, doesn't really matter. You sit back, take stock, see who you are. That's about opening destiny's present. Figure out from there where you want to go. Forgive them if they've hurt you, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because holding on to the pain and the blame and the shame is keeping you down. So you don't forgive people for them, not at all. That's another part of the present. You forgive them for yourself because then you're letting go, and then you can move on. It doesn't matter how horrible. Maybe you were poisoned. Maybe you had a jab and something bad happened. Maybe your parents gave you stupid food. Maybe you had like I had my tonsils out. Whatever. Maybe they cut you for various reasons, as they do to all of us. Doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to be cruel. Really, maybe you were assaulted in a bad way when you were a little girl or a little boy, and someone did some invasive physical stuff to you. It's horrible, of course, but also it doesn't matter today simply because now you've got to take yourself away from that and move on, or else you get stuck in the old, which isn't your present, which keeps you down, which just basically means probably you're going to have to go back around and try again. And as for me, I think I'm done.
Me too, man. Um, yeah, I mean, I obviously do a lot of work on history, alternative history, but do I think I'm ever going to get to a point where I know exactly what's happened and it's all written out and I can prove that? Not at all. I don't think that's what it's all about. To me, it's about seeing that the world that we're given, the point of view we're given by society, by the ruling class, by all these people, it's wrong, and we don't need to accept it. That to me is the biggest lesson. We get to question everything, and also we get to decide how we want to view it. With Tartaria, we can decide that, oh my God, look, we were so amazing, and they've come in and taken us down, and they control us, and they do this, and right? Take that negative point of view, that victimhood, or we can go, wow, look where we were in the past. We can get back there. We've done it before. We can do it again, and it can be optimistic, or it can just be interesting, and along the way you're like, wow, everything they told me is a lie, which then gives you the opportunity to change everything about you, right? If it's all a lie and you learn that, why would you keep living it, right? So to
Yeah.
me, it's the bigger picture. It's not necessarily proving, that this happened and this happened and these people did this and blah, blah. Because like I said, I don't think that's ever going to be properly provable. So many of these
Yeah.
things that we look into, they're not provable. We don't have proof, but people will get on there and they'll tell you it's this and it's that and blah 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 blah, and they're allowed to believe that, but you don't have to. Right? You can actually live your life and by what is provable and what is provably true to you, because what's true to you is going to be something different to what someone else believes is true. We all have different experiences, but and another thing, people say belief. Oh my God, it's such an evil thing. It's such an evil word, belief. Really? What if you believe that you're all powerful and you can create
Yeah.
whatever you want? What if you believe that a better world is possible? Right? What Their beliefs. To me, beliefs are, and it comes back to nothing is good or bad, right? But thinking makes it so. If it's an empowering belief, it's good. If it's a depowering belief, it's bad. And that's it. And so many people spend all this time discussing the bad of the world and how it's bad, and then they don't do anything about it. And that's pretty much the worst thing you can do, because then you're really in fear, right? Then you're stuck. People are doing things to you and you're powerless to do anything. So I would say, if you're down one of those rabbit holes, do something about it. Get out and start doing something practical to change it, or focus on something different, because
Yep.
it's only you that you're affecting.
I think Campbell made a good point, and I want to focus on that a bit, is look at both sides of anything that's good or bad. I mean, something I brought up with Campbell off air is like, sure, the Tartarians were great and they made good buildings and everything was beautiful. Where are they now? Maybe they overstepped their boundaries and exploded and they disappeared into the ether. Nobody knows, right? Supposedly the Tartarians are not here anymore. Did something good happen to them? Did they drift off into heaven, or did something bad happen to them? Did they, like the old Atlanteans, supposedly they overstepped what they
Mm,
knew and killed themselves? I'm not saying either is true. It's just if you look at the ultimate in good like a belief or the ultimate in bad like a belief, they cancel each other out, in the best of all ways, and they leave you where you should be with yourself. That's it. And then from yourself, you can understand yourself. People say, I don't need beliefs. Maybe you do need a belief, right? Like you can know, but then even like we're in these bodies. So maybe a belief, if you become conscious of it, is just something you're choosing. Belief isn't an enemy of knowing. Maybe you know you believe. Maybe you believe you know. It doesn't really matter, Mr. Obvious. What's obvious is that you're here and you see your experience. And if your experience is something you like, you get more of it. If your experience is something you don't like, you choose less of it. People are complicating the fact that they got to understand themselves. I don't understand why. In a recapitulation, I would say, Campbell asked me to remind him, so I'll remind everyone, going over your life, seeing how you've made it, seeing how you haven't made it, seeing how it's wonderful, seeing how you can create something even better, could be a good direction for figuring out how to move forward if you're not happy with something in your life. In that, maybe all of this is a distraction from us figuring out ourselves. Because once again, I don't
mm,
know about you, but if I could do what Jesus did, or I can do what God did, or I can do what Buddha did, to me that seems the ultimate in presence, or the biggest present to unwrap is my own power and what I can do with that. And isn't that amazing?
mm. Yeah, and a few people have had a few comments on beliefs. Beliefs are unnecessary when you know. Well, I would say, what do you know?
Hmm.
What can you prove that's 100% true? Because to me, that there's very very few things. I mean, even this, we used to think that the sun's yellow, right? The sun's orange. That's the truth. Go look up into the sun today, right?
Yeah,
Um,
today it's white. Yeah.
Belief is the enemy of knowing. Yeah, we've all heard it, right? Crow 777, we know, and that's cool. And he may have a different perspective on it, whatever. It doesn't mean that we need to take that on, but everything should be examined. If you're just taking these things on because other people are saying them or it's popular to say, it's not your belief. Okay, so what really is truth? Because as again JJ Recon says, evidence shows we're living in a time of just degeneracy, disobedience, and duty. Disobedience is duty. Well, disobedience to who? See, this is the
Yeah.
problem. Disobedience. I'll paraphrase what I think you mean. Those who control us, the system. Well, doesn't that statement by being put out there mean that you believe someone controls you? I don't believe anyone controls me. Like I couldn't care, right? But that's a belief that someone controls you, and that to me is not true either. To me, we're living in a time where we're being given opportunity. We're shown where we've gone wrong. We're shown how we can be better. We're being given a bit of space so that we can get to know ourselves and make better decisions. I mean, I've said it a million times. Who would go back to 2019? Like seriously, who would go back to 2019 and live that life for the next 20 years? Anyone? So how can what's happened and it is happening be bad? It's just giving us more choice. So that's evidence to you, but it's not evidence to me, which means it's not a truest truth. Not everyone believes that, and so often we believe that everyone believes what we believe. But I've found through talking to people that is hardly ever the case. You might agree on a few things, but you can have different perspectives because we've all lived different lives. We've all experienced different things. We've all taken on different beliefs, right?
So
So I just wanted to point that out. There is to me no truest truth.
mean, why don't people in the comments or people say how they've been wrong, how they've been bad, how they've misunderstood something? Like, why is everyone always looking outside? Understand the construct. Doesn't mean anything. You are the construct. We've got to get out of the matrix. Doesn't mean anything. You're making the matrix. Disobey society. What does that even mean? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna like go away from 7 billion people, no matter what they say? Maybe some people have some good advice. Maybe some people have some bad advice. What is society? It's very different here in Japan than it was in Canada, than it was in the United States when I traveled, than it is in Europe when I talk to my friends there, or Australia when I talk to my friends there. It's very different for all of us. And I bet you if you talk to someone in Africa or China or Korea, it's going to be very different for them. So what are you disobeying? This fight that everyone seems to want, I think that's the echo in their head, the ego, the echo that keeps you fighting something, which stops you from going below the battle and realizing if anything's keeping you down, it's you. If anything's keeping you in the construct, it's you, right? If anything's, keeping you away from your happiness, it's you. It begins and ends right here. And that's the beautiful present in that you don't need anybody. You don't need anything. There is no fight for truth because there is no truth unless you're fighting for your own truth, Mr. Vinnie Doom. The only thing that really one requires, in my opinion, is a complete, full understanding and activation of themselves, of their energy, of why they're here. This fighting stuff, it's like talk about yourself, understand yourself, recapitulate yourself, put that in the middle, and then maybe you'll get beyond whatever's stopping you from being happy because guaranteed it's you.
Hmm. Yeah, well, rules are boxes. We put them on ourselves, right? And there are rules to the construct. If that's what you want to call it, but it doesn't mean that's the same rules for every person. It's just for you, and they're the rules that you make and put on yourself. As far that's it, right? If that's not true, then we're not creators. If that's not true, then not everything is not energy, right? There is no flow. There is no not like you're building a box. That's a box. The government is bad. The government is worldwide. There's people everywhere that are doing the wrong thing, but we get to choose how to interact with that. We get to go, wow, I don't want to be like that, or I see that in myself that I need to work on to become more of me. Or we can be, oh my God, they're here to rule us. Those bloody Satanists, look what they're doing. They're out there. They're doing blah 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 blah. They're destroying the economy and community, right? Well, what was it? Society. Get away from society. Well, like one of my goals in the near future is to build to build a community around me. That's what I want, right? Like that's so why would I be against that? So I'm just trying to point out that everything is perspective, right? Unless you're stuck in belief. Because another thing I've noticed is all these people who said belief is the enemy of knowing and belief is bad. They've all started saying what their beliefs are, that the government rule them, that society's bad.
I know.
That's a belief. That's a belief. Okay, so that's a good, hopefully a good prod that maybe you need to really go inside and ask yourself, what do I believe? Am I kidding myself? Because I got to tell you, we all kid ourselves so much.
We really do.
Like that's the big problem. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand frequency fence and affects our DNA. Like, come on, Denise. Like, once again, you're looking at being a victim. Maybe there's a frequency offense, but only you affect your DNA and your abilities. And if something's not acting or working the way you want, that's up to you to figure out. Let's say there is a frequency fence. Well, that's up to you to figure out how to get over that. I mean, government is worldwide. It's not worldwide. It's not in here. Government is in your head and you change it. Tara said something beautiful. Oracle of Delphi, first thing, know thyself. Didn't say know the construct. It didn't say know, the government. It didn't say know the frequencies that are messing you. It didn't say know the environment. It didn't say know the rules and beliefs and parents and all and your dietary habits or requirements. No, it said know thyself. This is, in my opinion, the thing the monsters, the governments, the frequency fence is keeping away from all of us. For whatever reason, maybe because it's super painful, most people just don't want to look at themselves, don't want to go deep, don't want to figure out how they've been horrible, let's say, and fantastic, so they can bring out more of that by having an understanding and an awareness of their own conscious potential. The rest, I think, is a distraction. I could be wrong. I don't want to have a fight with anybody here, but I really feel if you're pointing outside yourself, you're missing the point, which is you.
Yeah, and like I said before, everyone's reality is different. So we're not telling you to believe what we believe, or we're not telling you that we know everything. But and that's another thing that worries me a bit about all this. And I don't like the word truth or any of that stuff. But the truth movement, whatever you want to call it, it's very easy to put yourself in a position where everyone else is below you. Everyone else is stupid. Why can't they see it? Why are they doing this? Blah, which is what's it doing? What, are you better than everyone else? Because you made one decision, because you got some information that they didn't, because you were raised in a different family, society, religion, whatever. We're all the same, and the motivation should be to help as many as we can to grow through that, right? Just to become more loving, not more divisive, because now we're in a point where the government's the problem, and so is 2/3 of the population. We're just growing our problems, right? Like, better to grow solutions. There was a comment, something about you need to know your oppressors. Well, I would say you need to know a problem before you can fix it. But if you stop at the problem, what are you doing? You're just focusing on what you don't want again. So yeah, you need to go, that's a problem, but the problem needs to be in you. You can't go out there and make other people change their thoughts and behavior. It's never worked. As far as I'm concerned, it never will work. If someone comes up to me and tells me to change and I need to do this, they're not going to get the response they want. Let's just say that. But you can change yourself. And then through that change, through walking the talk, people will go, wow, look at their life. Why are they so happy? Why are they, achieving this? Why are they do? And then they will change themselves. That's how we change the world, is we change ourselves. That's the only way I see it. But again, I could be wrong. You've got your own life to live. This is all just, as Lorenzo likes to say, all for your consideration. And that's it. Just consider it.
So let's say going into the new year, Campbell and I have discussed this. Go to newagora.ca. New, N-E-W, as in not old, Agora, A-G-O-R-A.ca. We're going to continue our practical evolution. We have new people joining us. We have Flower and Power, which are basically the Flora Live essences, which have helped us quite a bit. They haven't done the work for us, because nothing can do the work for you. But sometimes they just give you a little hint of what you might be missing so that you can do some further explorations for yourself. Maybe there's an unconscious or a subconscious block. I think we all have them that you need to address but can't address. That's why it's subconscious, so they can help you get a little more conscious of your challenges. As for practical evolution, we're going to work with other people, other modalities. Campbell also has some tuning forks which help, and a whole other, detox products, etc. Go to his channel, go to my channel. You can see it all from newagora.ca. There's links for all of this. And the reason I'm mentioning it is we invite all of you that wish to come along to join us and to participate, to see what you can do. Some of it will cost some money. A lot of it that we're offering is free. Nobody needs to spend anything if they don't want to, other than an honest effort on themselves. I figure that's what you really need to spend, is an honest effort on yourself if you want to grow up and beyond. Like, if you're fully happy and you're wonderful and you're beautiful and your life's amazing, wonderful. That's amazing. I don't think anybody needs anything. But if you have a challenge, or you have somewhere you feel you need to go and you're not quite sure what to do, maybe coming along with us for this ride in 2024, that's our intent. As Campbell said, new society, new way to be fantastic, putting it all together, being super abundant in all the ways possible. We would love to see you guys come along with us if you feel there's a vibration here that can help us all grow together.
Indeed. And if you're interested in that, there's links below. Like Lorenzo mentioned, these flower essences, that they're energy. They're not the normal, essences. They're from uncut, so it's literally just a frequency that will help build your frequency. So if you are looking for something to help you on your journey, check that out. But of course, it's up to us to do the work, right? It really is. And there's a saying, life's an inside job. And it is. I believe that 100% through all my experiences. That is a truth, right? It's we create a reality. We create who we become. We accept things because ultimately we do have choice. Like, we do. You can always make a different decision. And sure, that might be, a truth, but to me, that's a truth. Like, I can make different decisions and I'll get different outcomes, right? I can believe different things and I'll get a different outcome in my future. So, again, we're sort of rabbiting on a point, but, you're the point. It's you. You're the present. So spend time on you. Become who you want to be. And then you can do whatever that's how you change the world.
Really,
all these people that change the world, that they do it by becoming something first, right? You never see someone sitting down, on the couch in squat or on the street going, I'm going to do whatever. And people stop and go, oh, look, he's going to change the world. He's going to stop, homelessness. Look at him there sitting homeless on the street. Clearly that's never happened, right? But if he said, "Well, I was homeless, and look at me now. I've got into business. I've made money. I've opened up, some daycares and some refuges and all this stuff, and I'm doing," then people would go, "Wow, look what he's done. I want to. What did he do? I want that. I want that. I want to change myself." That's how you change the world. That's it. That, as far as I can see, and we can argue and blah 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 about it, but I think the best thing is, let's prove it to yourself, right?
Yeah,
Just
like
try it.
look at all the new age people, look at all the gurus, look at all the people before 2020. Where are they now? How many of them have reached their heavenly heights? All of them, they all disappeared. They all went back
Yeah,
into the dark cracks they came from, even the love and lighters. Where are the love and lighters during the viral shenanigans? I didn't see a one of them, not a one standing up and saying, be true to yourself, be loving and strong, don't listen to anybody, just listen to yourself. None, none,
mm,
like almost none that I've seen. Anyways, they all ran away behind their book deals or their movie deals or their controlled opposition deals or whatever they happen to have. And I'm not saying it because I'm trying to be a downer. I'm just saying, really, as Campbell said, if you trust in yourself and you work with yourself and you be with yourself, nobody can invade you or trick you or leave you, left out in left field, holding your own, empty bag of promises. Because if there's a challenge, then you pick up your own bootstraps. And if there's a win, like Campbell said, it's all your fault. You congratulate yourself on the win. You blame yourself for
yeah,
your losses, congratulate yourself on your wins, and then you don't need anybody except you to become the best you can be. And for me, what better destiny, what better present than to unwrap yourself and to see all the power that's been inside you, probably since first breath, maybe even before.
yeah. Yep. So, we wish you all a happy holy day season where you can become more whole. And yeah, guys, you're the present. You can do whatever you want. If you want to, if you want a partner, become the person that deserves the partner you want. If you want
Mm,
more freedom, become the person who deserves that freedom, who can create that freedom. If you want to stop, the government passing certain laws, well, do that. Educate yourself, get into that system, put yourself in a position where you can affect change. Because like I said before, if you're going to spend your time focusing on things you can't change, you're going to spiral down. You just will, because you've put yourself in a position of hopelessness. So focus on what you can do, and that's change yourself and into anything. Some take more time than others, but you can literally become anything you want. We've seen it out in the world. People have done it, right? So it's clearly possible. So my wish for you all is that you have a very happy holidays spent with people you want to spend time with, and that you give them your presence, and that
yeah.
you give yourself your presence, and spend more time there, and you will start to understand that you are the present,
Yep.
right?
If you want,
It's
if you
all
want to be
you.
healthy, become healthy. If you don't want government rules, don't listen to any government rules. If you want more abundance, see how to become abundant. You want more freedom, see how to be free. Look where it all begins and ends, right? Sitting where you are, pointing at yourself and picking. And if you don't know how to do it, that's your next step in your destiny. I've said it before. If you're not healthy, figure out how to get healthy. If you need more abundance, figure out how to get more abundance. And I'm not talking from a place where Campbell and I, we've stressed over this over the last 12 months. How do we get more for ourselves? How do we get healthier? How do we get more loving? How do we get better relationships? How do we, build the society and the peace and the place we want to be? And we're doing it because we're doing it, not because anyone really told us, not because anyone helped us. And boy, did we stuff up quite a few times, as they say in Australia, before we've learned to move the other way, to take that creativity test and to see if we're creating properly for ourselves. And, I just want to say to everyone, you can do it. We can do it. I was, whatever. I'm nobody special. Anyone that's ever really succeeded probably was nobody special. They just figured out, if not me, who, if not now, when, as they say, and know thyself, and then move from there, and then you'll be the best present ever.
Indeed. So thanks all for being here and spending some time with us. 140 of you still here. Thanks to everyone in chat. Of course, thanks to all the mods and members. Appreciate you all and all the work you do. And hope we didn't trigger too much of you. Like, this is not for us to trigger you or to say that you're right or wrong, or that we're right or wrong. It's just, as I would say, we want you to ask better questions of yourself. And through that, you'll get better answers, and spend some time and realize it is all you. It's all up to you. You've got everything you need. So hope you have an amazing 2024. We may see you before New Year's, but if not, we'll definitely be back in the new year with some more live shows. Check out all the links below if you're interested, and stay awesome. And we'll
Bye-bye, everyone.
talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now. If I can find the outro.
Stepping it up, taking a chance, risking it all, we're going crazy.